g'day. Michael Gallis, Healthy Living on A1 TV. Magic Monday on a Monday evening. Thanks very much for joining us. I've had fantastic support since I started this show, and I'd just like to have a big shout out to all our viewers on Facebook Live, Instagram, YouTube, and on A1 TV across Australia and around the world. I really thank you for your support. Today, as you can see, tonight we've got cooking, and I'm cooking a very special cake from my family and my mum. But before I do that, I'd just like to give a big shout out to everyone in the Muslim community that's watching, and wish everyone a very happy and safe Eid Mubarak as you celebrate Eid al-Adha and with your families. And especially in Australia and a lot of places around the world, it's very challenging. Here in Melbourne with the coronavirus, we're about to go to a stage 4 lockdown due to coronavirus second wave taking hold. And a big shout out to everyone who's been affected by the coronavirus, and especially to our elderly community, as we have many grandparents and parents passing away here in Melbourne and also right around the world. And our thoughts and prayers are with you and your families. And we hope if we all stick together, wash our hands, wear our masks, and do what the authorities are asking us to do with social distancing, we can be rid of this hideous disease and return our lives to some sort of normal. So tonight I'm going to take your mind off it, and we're going to do some cooking. And a really big thank you. These scarves, Pakistan scarves, were given to me when I visited Pakistan last September, and a big thank you to the communities that honour me with these scarves of their area. Kenny the crab's back, you can see, and isolation isn't making him any smaller. Cooking today, as I go through and cook Pete's marvellous moist chocolate cake, which was one of our family favourites, and it's named after Pete, my younger brother, by my mum, because he used to really enjoy eating it. Now, it's not the healthiest chocolate cake that you've ever seen, but it is something that brought great joy to my family when I was growing up. I've got 3 brothers, David, Peter, Stuart, and myself. That's right. My poor mum and dad kept trying for that beautiful baby girl, but after 4 beautiful boys, they gave up and were lucky enough to have all of us together throughout our lives. Cooking, especially during challenging times, gives me great solace and great peace. And it's something I know people all around the world do the same thing with it. And food, doesn't it taste so much better when it's made with love? And that's something that I'd like to demonstrate today through Pete's marvellous moist chocolate cake that we're about to cook. Also, I'm going to talk about 2 of my friends, Sean Slater, who runs an organisation, a volunteer organisation called Boots for Kids, where he gives out footy boots to kids to give them opportunities through sport. And as I'm cooking, another one of my great friends, Wonga Baravila, who runs a Island Breeze Rugby Plus group that gives people opportunities and hope through rugby. And majority of his work is in Fiji. And just wanted to honour those 2 friends of mine while I cook Pete's marvellous moist chocolate cake tonight on A1 TV. Kenny the crab, he's been in a very good sea, as you can see, and I'm looking forward to, once isolation finishes here in Melbourne, getting fitter and getting Kenny the crab slimmer. We'll start off. First thing you need is to put some flour, bicarb soda and sugar together in a mixing bowl. So we're going to come over here. I've had the flour, and it says, now ingredients are very important, and it's very important you follow the recipe. You can add tweaks here and there, but you've got to be very careful, because then if you tweak it too much one way and not the other, and then you don't cook it properly, you end up with a bit of a mess. Another thing that I'd just like to say, something that I follow, is 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar every day. Very good for your tummy and your digestive system. One thing I've found out, the better things are for you, sometimes the worse they taste. And those of you who've tried apple cider vinegar will know it is very difficult to swallow. But once it gets into your indigestion system, it's one of the best things that you can do for yourself. So if you're out there and you're looking for a health tip, apple cider vinegar. That's a good one to go to. Flour, Benjamin, my cameraman, doing a great job as usual. How much flour does it say we need to do? We'll have a look here. 2 cups of plain flour. So then here's our mixing. Straight in here with the wooden spoon. Tell you a story about the wooden spoon. There's 1 cup, 1.5 cups, and there's 2 cups. No, 1.5 cups. See, you've got to be very careful with your measuring. So we'll keep going there. Put another couple of spoonfuls of flour in. Make sure you get the flour it says. It says 2 cups of plain flour. Don't use the self-raising. And this wooden spoon, I think I mentioned in our first ever episode when I did scones. Very famous in our house because when Mum got upset, she'd give you a whack on the backside with the wooden spoon. And I tell you, it hurt. Oh, did it hurt? Because Mum, when she got angry, she got very angry. And most of the time I deserved it when I was being naughty or teasing my brothers. But there was a couple of times where, and one time in particular, my brother Dave, we got this big cardboard box in the lounge room when we were very little, just before Christmas. And Mum and Dad said, don't touch it, don't look at it, pretend it's not there. One day they went out for tea, and my brother David, this is what I remember anyway, said, why don't we just cut a little hole in it and have a look and see what it is? Because we thought it might have been our Christmas present. So we cut a little hole around the back, thinking Mum and Dad wouldn't check that there was a hole in it, and saw it was a pool, a little wading pool, which we were very excited about. So we, the little cardboard bit we cut out, we put back together, and we went on with our night, watching a bit of TV with the babysitter. One of us distracted her while the other one cut into the cardboard box and had a look. Anyway, cutting long story short, next morning we wake up, very excited that very soon for Christmas we're getting this pool in this big cardboard box, and we had to pretend we didn't know what was in it. And Mum and Dad came out and had a bit of a chat to us and said who was the person that looked in the pool, in the box, and opened it up. And neither Dave or I said anything. And then my brother said, it wasn't me, so that left me. So Mum said, come over here with the wooden spoon, and she went whack. Don't you open up those Christmas presents. Don't you, we told you, don't open up that box. And my brother, he said, well, it wasn't me. And thanks for that, Dave, because I got a nice little smack on the backside, bang, bang, and it was not, and I certainly made sure after that that I never went near any Christmas presents. So kids, if Mum's got the wooden spoon, don't upset her, especially when she's cooking and especially around Christmas presents, because they hurt and teaches you a very valuable lesson. And always listen to your parents and follow their ideas and rules. Okay, another thing my mum taught me was to make sure you always sift your ingredients, because it makes it smoother and again, creates extra time. The more time you spend cooking, those of you who enjoy your cooking, the better it tastes. Looks like our sieve here, Ben, we might need a new one, but still does the job. So we're going to put our flour in on the top and then sift it through. Oh, try as much as you weigh. A great cookbook. You're looking for a cookbook? This one's over 30 years old, Cookery, the Australian one. And food made with love. Doesn't it taste better? In my opinion, it certainly does. So just sift through the flour. Benjamin doing a great job there. Maybe I should have pre-prepared this, Benny, but we've got a little bit of time to continue with our cooking, no rush. Oh, we've got to preheat the oven too. Might be an idea if I switch the oven on. What does it say on the recipe there? 200. Now, we've all experienced very challenging times with this coronavirus outbreak, not just here in Melbourne, but also around Australia and across the world. And there's a few tips that I would like to impart on you that I'm doing to get me and my family through it. And that's just staying calm and controlling what you can control. You can control washing your hands. You can control social distancing. You can control wearing a mask. And we need to do all those things. The health experts are telling us that will help us to stop the spread and also to eradicate the disease. So if you focus on that, then that gives you, and I only do it day by day. At the moment, I'm just taking one day at a time, just one day at a time. And also, it's okay to have a bad day. It's okay to not be okay. But when you're not feeling good and when you're feeling that everything's getting on top of you and this is too much and I wish everything would go back to the way it was, that's when you reach out to someone. You reach out to your family, you reach out to your friends, or you ring a helpline. There's plenty of mental health lines that are going on around the world in your capital cities or your countries, and talk to an expert about how you're having a bad day and can you give me some advice to help me to keep going and to keep going in a positive frame. And if you're an adult, and a father or a mother or a parent or an auntie or an uncle, you are a role model and you need to be really strong for your the younger generation, your kids or your nieces and nephews that are looking up to you. And it's very important in this time that you are strong and positive. And yes, it's challenging, but it will pass. Maybe a week, maybe a month, maybe a year, maybe even more. But at some stage, we'll get some kind of freedom, we'll get some kind of new normal where we get our freedoms back. And it's safe to go outside and it's safe to associate with people in crowds and it's safe to travel. That time will come. At the moment, it's not here. So really challenge yourself to take it one day at a time, control what you can control, stay calm, look after and be a role model for your family, and really support those around you that are finding it difficult. And never forget, it's okay to be not okay. Well, that's the flour done bedding. Now it says 1 teaspoon of bicarb soda. Now, while let's get all the flour and the bicarb soda and things like that. 1 teaspoon. Here's my little teaspoon with a tea and a little teacup and saucer at the top. Bicarb soda. 1 teaspoon it says. So we just get our little teaspoon. Always, as I said, my mum taught me, Lois Callis, great lady, taught me, always sift your ingredients, makes a smoother mixture, which means it'll taste better. Sugar. Now, I know we're healthy eaters, but you're allowed to at sometimes have a bit of break from being 100% healthy, and especially in when you're in challenging times. As long as you're not overdoing it, it's a good thing to enjoy the opportunity to engage in some sweetness. And I know all cultures have amazing sweets and amazing foods that come that way. So we're just going to mix all that up. So we just mix that around. Where's Mum's wooden spoon? Benny, here it is. Now, Benjamin, have you ever been smacked with a wooden spoon from your mum?
Yeah.
You have not.
Yes, I have.
When?
A long time ago.
A long time ago. You must have been doing something naughty. Were you being naughty? I think you were being naughty to your big sister, weren't you?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think you were teasing her. So Evan Benjamin, our cameraman's had a smack with the wooden spoon. Did it hurt?
Yes.
It did, yes. And did you tease your sister again after that?
No, but she's allowed to tease me now.
There's a bit of sibling rivalry between Benjamin and Lily, and we might have them on in later shows to have a chat about that. Now, make sure your mixture is well mixed. Now, I'm old school. Old school's good school, I say, and I don't use beaters or electricity. Use the wooden spoon. And I know a lot of cooks around the world certainly engage in using utensils and not engaging with the electricity. Okay, so there's our white goods done. We've got to add at some stage 2 eggs. Now, I've got a question for everyone. And again, A1 TV, Healthy Living, Michael Gallis, your presenter. Magic Monday. I love Mondays. Got an amazing week ahead. And thanks for all your support. What came first? We've got to chuck in a couple of eggs. Free-range eggs from the chickens. Who can tell me out there? Really looking forward to on Facebook Live an answer. I've tried for years. 49 years I've been thinking about this. What came first? Was it the chicken? We'll just get our chicken picture, Ben. Was it the chicken or the egg? Now I thought, well, it must be the egg because a baby chicken comes out of the egg and grows into a chook and then they lay an egg. But then I thought, well, it can't be the egg because the chicken chook. The the chook must lay the egg. But if the chook doesn't lay the egg, well, if the chook came first to lay the egg, well, how did the chook get there? Must have come from the egg. So therefore, the egg came first. But then how did the egg get there? It must have been the chicken. And my brain goes around and around and around. So someone out there, and Healthy Living, A1 TV, has the most intelligent and will add good-looking viewers around Australia and across the world. Big shout out to listeners in Canada, or viewers in Canada, New Zealand, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, Zinzabad, India, America, and many other places across Melbourne and around Australia. Let me know, what came first, the chicken or the egg? We might do a whole show on it one day when we get a chance to get out of our postcode, go down to a chicken farm and talk to an expert or an egg farm. So I'm going to put a couple of these eggs in here. Benjamin, there's one egg gone in, and here comes the other egg. I love eggs. We used to have chickens and chooks at home. I'll tell you another story about my little brother, Stu. He's not going to like this, Ben, but we caught him one day when he was really small in the chook house, and he wasn't patting the chooks, and he wasn't feeding the chooks, and he wasn't collecting the eggs. He was actually, don't tell anyone, he was actually eating chook poo. Okay, so, and his whole face was covered in chook poo with a big smile. So I think he was enjoying it, but please don't tell anyone I said that about my brother Stu, because he won't be very happy for me to tell everyone. But when he was a baby, he was eating chook poo in the chook shed. Here's our two beautiful eggs. The oranger you are, the better they are, I've been told. Now, probably not a good idea to be stirring with a spoon. Oh no, a bit of spillage there. Gigi the puppy dog will enjoy that, Ben. And as you pan down, Ben, I'm sure you saw my great jeans. That's Jimmy Floyd's favourite, these jeans. And Jimmy, just to remind you, this is fashionable in Melbourne, okay? I know you live up there in Queensland and Cairns, where the fashion's a bit slower than here. And they came from Turkey. So I haven't fallen over. They're not old. It's called fashion, mate. And get with the program, Jimmy. One of our great supporters of Healthy Living, A1 TV, Jimmy Floyd. And always great to have feedback from our viewers on my fantastic fashion. Now, I just want to make a quick costume change. And those of you who watched last week's episode you know how much I love a costume change. Now, I'm wearing my mate Sean Slater's Boots for Kids polo top. Boots for Kids, just a bit of a shout out to Sean and my other great mate up there, Jacob Hall in Queensland. They collect footy boots, and as a volunteer organisation, they go and give it out to kids who can't afford to have footy boots. So they, in Australia, people love playing footy, soccer, rugby, and they need boots because they play on dirt or they play on grass. And my mate Sean, with his mate Jacob, do a great job volunteer. Sean's got 8 kids, and amazing to be able to still volunteer in the community and give boots out to kids. So big shout out to Sean and Jacob and all the team at Boots for Kids. Keep it up. You do amazing work and you're changing lives all through giving the kids hope and opportunities through sports and footy boots. So if you've got footy boots lying around at home, check out, Benny, can you see that there? Check out Boots for Kids on Facebook and hit them up and donate your boots to them so they can give them out to, mainly they go to Aboriginal kids out in remote areas, and the kids think it's Christmas, absolute Christmas time. So keep up the good work, Sean and Jacob, and please show your support by donating your footy boots you're not wearing anymore to Sean and Jacob and the team at Boots for Kids. Eggs are done, Benny. What's next on the agenda? Okay, we're going to heat the cocoa. Heat the cocoa, it says, water and butter in a pan. Okay, lucky I pre-prepared the water. Very lucky in Australia to have clean water, and I certainly never take that for granted. And so we're going to pour some water in here. Maybe I should have warmed it up previously, Benny, but that might have been a good idea. Pre-prepared. Cooking shows, you just go with the flow and see what happens. So there's my water in there. Also it says to add 250 grams of butter. That's a lot of butter. Now we'll put our eggs over here, Ben, out of the way. And we'll get our butter here on the table. Sharp knives are good for butter. Certainly very good for butter, our sharp knives. And we're going to put the butter, cut up the butter into cubes so that'll melt quicker in the water. And 250 grams of butter coming up. We'll put that in there. Well, and then we'll stir it around and it'll melt. Doing a good job on filming there, Ben. And also, so how much cocoa we got there? Cocoa, 4 tablespoons of cocoa. Only 4 tablespoons. Well, I hope I've got enough of that to go in. It says heat cocoa, water and butter in a pan. Okay, 4 tablespoons. Well, there's one. Count me in, viewers. Kids out there, cooking's always good for your maths. So if you're a kid and you see your mum or dad, auntie or uncle, brother or sister cooking, and you want to get involved, great idea. Help you with estimation, help you with weights, help you with understanding how different flavours put together provide different tastes. And something that I was inspired and encouraged to do by my mum. And now happily, my kids, Ben and Lily, not so much Thomas, because he usually sleeps most of the day, doesn't he, Ben?
And get Macca's.
Oh, and yeah, he doesn't mind an odd trip to McDonald's or two, old Tommy Gillis. Which, but it's great, and I'm sure as he gets older, he's 20, what is he, 20? He's 20. I'm sure as he gets older, he'll be more inspired to cook rather than having his mum, dad, brother and sister cook for him.
Don't
So
think
if you
so.
get you don't think so, Ben? No, I'm sure he will. If you get an opportunity to cook, make sure you do. And you learn lots, but also, especially during these challenging times, gives you a bit of solace, gives you a bit of time out, and it gets you to focus on something other than the stressful environment we're currently living in. And then the finished product, you really come together as a family and enjoy eating it together. And I know everyone around this Eid time is celebrating that, getting together with family and good food and celebrating the love we all have for each other. And that's what's going to make the world go round. Our love, compassion and empathy for each other. And that's what we really need at this point in time. It's not about blaming anyone about where the virus came from or why it's spreading or how it's spreading. It's about all of us sticking together, coming together, supporting our families, supporting each other, supporting our countries to get through this so our lives can return to some sort of normal and safety. I've nearly melted the butter, Ben, and stirred through the cocoa. How's our time going there, mate? Give me a bit of a hand signal there, how much time we got left, because certainly got a lot of great shows on A1 TV, and big shout out to everyone from A1 TV, and really enjoying the diversity of shows. There was a cooking show, there was a kids show. I watched the cooking show last night. It certainly had me covered, but it was great to see the diversity of shows. We've got a mental health show that happens during the week, and lots of really intelligent and important information coming through. And yep, better turn that down, Ben. Good idea. Just giving me a bit of a look there while I'm having a bit of a chat. In relation to entertaining you, but also informing you about current issues and also well-being in relation to our lives. So we've beaten the eggs. Step 1, heat cocoa, water and butter in a pan. Tick. Add the beaten eggs. Tick. Pour on the flour, bicarb soda and sugar. Stir together. Tick. Okay, here we go. Let's try and put it all together and see how we go. Okay. And again, this is just one of my favourites. Pete's Marvellous Moist Chocolate Cake in tribute to my mum who put it together. And the best part of cooking is eating it at the end, and let's hopefully this turns out all right. When you add wet ingredients to dry ingredients, it's good to do it gradually. Don't pour it all in at once. Pour a little bit in and then stir it around and mix it together, okay? Which is what we're doing right now. So we've just put it all in. We're going to give it a big mix. And as I said, I like to use the mussels Okay, lucky I've got some guns here, and rather than electric beaters, but you use whatever suits you. And we gradually add the liquid to the dry. Oh, smells good. Whew. You know you're going well. Another good thing about being the chef, you get to taste test as you go along, and that's my favourite. And you get to taste it first as it comes out of the oven. Yeah, use a bit of brute strength here to mix it around. Remember, my mum taught you the smoother the better, which is why you sift your ingredients, and also mix your ingredients very importantly. Oh, it's looking very syrupy there, Benny. And you can see the steam coming off it. Oh, whew, doesn't that smell good? Another best thing about this, when I was little, watching my mum cook Pete's Marvellous Moist chocolate cake, was you got to lick the bowl or lick the spoon. And that was something pretty exciting. Okay, looking good there. We've mixed all that together. We've just got to add the beaten tin, add the beaten eggs, grease the tin, whack it in the oven. Okay, probably a good idea here to whack the oven on as you start. For this chocolate cake, 200. Okay, big shout out. Thank you to Shawnee, Jacob, Boots for Kids. Keep doing what you're doing, buddy. Another costume change. And this one, we're on to Island Breeze Rugby Plus, Fijian-based organisation, which gives kids and adults opportunity through rugby. Jade and Wonga Baravilla, great friends of mine, have taken me across to Fiji a couple of times. Once to Vuma, only happens in Vuma on the island of Overlau, small village there. Amazing people doing amazing things and giving kids opportunities through rugby. And also up to Ruku Ruku. How good's that for a name? Ruku Ruku. And a big cheerio and a big bulla. And a big hello to everyone on Overlau at Ruku Ruku and Vuma and up in Queensland. And what Wonga and Jade Baravilla and the Island Breeze Rugby Plus team do is give kids and give youth opportunities through rugby. And that allows them to have a positive pathway in life and stay away from negative influences. And if they're good enough in Fiji, they're trialled and they're brought to Australia and they get opportunities to play rugby in Australia. And then if they're good enough from that, they go into the state leagues, either with, well, they were down here with the Melbourne Rebels, and the Queen, now Wonga and Jade and the organisation are up in Queensland with the Queensland Reds. And if they're good enough there, they play for Australia. And Sefa, he made it all the way through. He made it all the way through from the tiny village of Vuma, all the way through as a wallaby for Australia. And a big shout out, and he's a great inspiration for the Fijian nation, as many Fijians are playing rugby in Australia. And big shout out to Wonga and Jade Baravilla, because without them and Island Breeze Rugby Plus, these Fijian youth wouldn't get that opportunity to have such a positive life. So keep up the good work. And finishing off with Percy the Platypus, my fantastic Aboriginal designs coming through from Bundoora up in Queensland, who are very supportive. And another great friend of mine, Gary Purchase, did this One Nation Aboriginal painting to show that we need to come together as one nation with everyone, all cultures, all races, all religions, and be compassionate and empathetic so that we can live in peace and harmony. And that's what we need to be doing right across the world. And that's what I do when I go and visit all the different cultures and all the different places, is to bring love and peace. And that's what, if you all do that in your household, in your street and in your community and in your country and in your nation, the world's going to be a better place. Benny, you've been fantastic on the camera. Let's finish this off. We're going to whack the eggs in. Double time now. Okay, we're going to mix that around. Not going to take long. Couple of seconds. Lucky I've heated up the oven. We're going to do some speed cooking, because it takes you 40 minutes to cook this and cook it properly. And again, good things take time, don't they? And especially in cooking. So the longer you cook something, the better it tastes. Get your pan. Make sure you grease your pan with butter so it doesn't stick. Kids always tell me off for that. Dad, you forgot to grease the pan. Everything's stuck to the bottom. Okay, that won't be today. Pour it in. Have a look at that. Have a look at that. How good is that? Tell you what, Ben, your dad's a good cook, isn't he? Hey? Fantastic. Really looking forward to it. If you liked what I've shown you, have a go at Pete's Marvellous Moist Chocolate Cake. Tell me how it comes out. Send me a few photos. Love to see it. Thanks again for all your support. You're all really inspiring me and enthusing me to continue with these programs, and especially during these challenging times where I can't go out and see my friends and run some interviews and show Australia, Melbourne and Victoria. And I thank you for understanding that I'm bringing you all the shows from home. But we've got some great ideas. I'm going to stick this in the oven. I'll be back. We'll let it 45 minutes for that to cook. Hello, 45 minutes later. I always wanted to do this on a cooking show. Something I prepared earlier. Voila! Look at that. That's how it comes out. A smacking good chocolate cake. Now I've got a couple of just going to finish off. Where'd it go, Ben? We're missing one. Icing sugar. Icing sugar. Hang 10, everybody. Well, there it is. You shouldn't put away the icing sugar when you need it. Last thing to do is to, now you should never do this because you're going to be in a lot of trouble. Never put a dirty spoon into a clean container of different ingredients. But time's ticking away. A bit of icing sugar on the top. And let's see what it tastes like. The best part about cooking is in the eating. Let's see if my cooking prowess. Look at that. Fantastic. Thanks for your time. Great to have you on. Let me just have a quick bite. That's pretty good. It's not as good as my mum's, that's for sure. But it's a pretty good effort of Pete's Marvellous Moist Chocolate Cake. It's been a pleasure having you watching. Thanks again for all your support. Stay positive, keep calm, control what you can control. Have a great week. Shaba Shaba, Mazzy Karoo, and Hooroo from Michael Gallis, tuning out for another week on A1 TV Healthy Living.